Okay, so if you've been subscribed to my channel for any amount of time, you probably know how much of a video game nerd I am. I've played hundreds, probably maybe even thousands of games if you count like Flash games. Anyways, I've played a lot of video games in my time on this earth, and only a few have truly captured my full attention for an extended period of time. In all of my days of gaming, there are only a few games which have had the high honor of giving me a urinary tract infection.
Oh, sick!
And while obviously these occurrences aren't directly the fault of the developers, I think this amounts to one of the highest compliments someone could offer a game. I mean, if your game is so addicting that I find myself ignoring basic biological functions like eating, drinking, or even going to the bathroom, then that's saying something for sure. In this video, I wanted to go ahead and talk about some of the most addicting games I've ever played throughout my gaming journey. Okay, so to anyone who's already subscribed to the channel, you most likely already know how much of a fanboy I am over Terraria. To avoid oversaturation of this topic, I'm just gonna go over a brief story. If you want a more detailed dive into this game, I definitely recommend checking out my last video. Anyways, Terraria is the game which inspired me to make this video in the first place. Here's how the story goes. It was 2020. The lockdown restrictions were just starting to loosen up. But the world was still uncertain as to whether or not we would ever go back to normal. My brother and I, on the other hand, had our focus on another topic. Terraria 1.4 Journey's End had just released. Though saddened by the name of the update, it had been years since we actually sat down and done a full-blown playthrough of the game. If we go further back, we spent an immense amount of time on the Xbox version. That was back during our first playthrough when every single thing we encountered, whether it's just a shitty new item that we would never use, or one of the best things we'd ever seen in the entire playthrough so far, was new and engaging. During that playthrough, we were so enthralled in the game that my dental health began to decline. As a kid, I obviously didn't have a firm grasp on the importance of such a thing, but I would go for multiple days in a row only brushing my teeth at night, because I would be playing this game all day throughout the summer. I'm sad to admit such a disgusting reality, but it's a true testament to how fun this game really is. I remember first entering the dungeon and having my mom yell at me to go brush my teeth. Okay, Mom. I said okay. Woman, I'm farming golden keys! But yeah, back on track with the whole 2020 playthrough. So, fast forward to 2020. I had obviously grown up a bit and learned how to take better care of my teeth, so that was no longer an issue. With the Journey's End update, there were massive additions to the game, one being a new difficulty level of Master Mode. It added mainly cosmetic things like boss trophies, but it also inspired me to get really into base building. One day, I spent so much time building this massive marble base since my brother was not going to be able to play that day. I was so focused on building as cool of a base as possible that I looked at the clock and it was already around 7 p.m. I'd been playing all day without even leaving my damned chair. For a little extra context, I sit with my feet up on my chair, so it made it more difficult to feel any necessity to go to the bathroom, I think. When I finally snapped out of my trance, I stood up from my chair and felt an immense pain in my lower abdomen. To spare you the gruesome details, I was basically pissing some solid flaky shit.
Oh, sick!
And it freaked the fuck out of me. Turns out I'd gotten a UTI, a urinary tract infection, from literally not pissing all day. This was the first time anything like that had ever happened to me, and it really made me think about the amount of time I spent on the game. If anyone watching this video has spent any amount of time in Factorio, you'd probably share my opinion that the game should be recognized by the Institute of Drug Abuse. If you haven't, let me summarize the gameplay for you. In Factorio, you start off as an engineer who is crash landed on a randomly generated planet. The only resources you have are the ones you can find around you. So, you set up a burner mining drill just so you can get your first power grid and automate the process, hopefully. Your end goal is to launch a rocket into space, signifying your ability to leave whenever you want. It's a pretty crazy goal considering what you start with, so you already know you have a long road ahead. If you're anything like me, you enjoy optimizing things. This game abuses people like me into a constant cycle of optimization. since once you optimize the system, you soon unlock a new item, which means you have to redo all of that in order to make it as optimized as possible. My first Factorio playthrough did not really capture me as much as my last one did. I think I was frustrated back in the day due to the overwhelming amount of items which needed to be organized. On my last playthrough, however, I pushed through that little hitch in the middle of the game, and I was pleasantly surprised. My most recent world completely consumed me. I'd go out and do whatever bullshit I had to do during the day, then I'd come back home, and it became a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the game. The reason for this is because I knew as soon as I clicked the play button on Factorio, my entire night was gone in the blink of an eye. Sometimes I even declined invites to play with friends just so I could get closer to launching my first rocket in Factorio.
Howdy, partner.
Yeah, you want to play something?
Yeah, I'm on Black Ops 2 right now.
Oh, well, I'm just going to play Factorio. I don't want to play with you.
Wait, what?
I'm just going to play Factorio.
Why?
Because I want to play Factorio.
Oh, okay.
At one point, I even got another UTI from this game. I'd even play the game while listening to lessons for my online classes. I was honestly spiraling out of control and starting to feel genuinely estranged from life, to the point that I thought about nothing else during the day but what changes I could make to my factory when I got back. Luckily, though, that came to an end when I finally launched a rocket. I'd beaten the game, technically, and now the addiction had pretty much subsided. I played it a little longer for fun, but not nearly as much as before. In retrospect, Factorio is a game which can completely consume you. I highly recommend it, especially for those of you who have a similar interest in optimization or programming, since you get to go pretty crazy with the damn automation in this game. I wish I could have better controlled my urge to play this game, as it would have not only lasted longer, but it would have also fared better from my actual life. Definitely try this game out if you're at all interested. It goes on sale pretty often as far as I remember. The last game I wanted to talk about was Borderlands 2. Back in the day when I first played Borderlands 2, it pretty much became my entire life. It was during a winter break when I was pretty young. Honestly, one of the most fun periods of time in my entire life. After asking my parents if we could get the game, obviously not letting them know of its pretty gruesome nature.
Shoot me in the face! In the face! Do it! Shoot me in the face! Face, 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 face! Now! Bullets in the face! Want him! Need him! Gimme, gimme, gimme! Joke! I'm gonna sing a song! Shoot me at the end of it! Da 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 da! Thank you!
We couldn't wait to install it and play the hell out of it. As the youngest brothers, we almost never bought our own games. Throughout childhood, I'd almost exclusively play whatever games my parents bought for my older brothers. The exceptions to that rule were Minecraft, Terraria, and Borderlands 2. What set these games apart from our experience with gaming in general is the fact that they were completely different genres from what our older brothers would play. They would usually just get shooter games and other popular games like Skyrim and GTA. Borderlands 2 was one of the first of its kind though, with millions of different guns and items to get. This difference is mainly what had us playing throughout the rest of the break, as well as the next year. That following summer was consumed by us playing all of the DLC for the game, which only solidified it as one of our favorite games of all time. At one point, our mom was forcing us to play outside due to the sheer amount of sunlight we'd been missing out on. Eventually, we moved over to PC and kept the fun going on there with our friends, but few things will ever top that shared experience with my brother when we were utterly enthralled by Borderlands 2. I know that this video is not nearly as long or insightful as my previous, but I just wanted to bring you guys into my experience as a gamer. I hope that this video, along with the next, can bring me a bit closer to you guys as an audience, as I show more of my experience with video games. I'm curious to read about your experiences with addictive games down in the comments below. It warms my heart to hear of people enjoying games with their loved ones, and I read every single comment, so please be sure to leave one. If you liked this video, give me a like, and if you disliked it, then I'd like to know why so I can improve. Just so you guys know, I'm not getting rid of long-form videos on this channel. Rather, I had a couple ideas for shorter videos, and I wanted to get those out in a timely manner. If you really enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe so you can be reminded about my next video coming out soon. Anyways, thank you so much for checking out my content. Have a good day. If anyone watching this video has ever spent any amount of time in Factorio. You probably share my opinion that this game should be recognized by the Institute of Drug... Almost, man. All fucking most. The reason for this is because my fucking gosh.